What's going on, journalist family? Checking in, we're gonna get right into it. What does the perfect diet look like? So I have my notes here. I don't want to go on a ramble and everything. I'm trying to stick to the time, stay under about an hour, so I'm going to be sticking to this. What does a perfect diet look like? Uh, Diet is such a complex topic. We'll start with that. It's a very complex topic, and I would never be able to cover even 1% of what of what diet is or the information necessary to answer all your questions about diet in this live. So please, if any questions you have, go ahead and leave it in the comment section or write it down, and we will definitely get to it in another live video for sure. So like I said, welcome back, journalist family. Irvin Felix John with the Fitness Journals, where I bring education, entertainment, and authenticity to the calisthenics game. Learn to do more with less. That is what I am here to do, to help you learn how to do more with less. So, welcome to a Brain Gains Live. I am doing a Brain Gains Live. And in this episode, like I said, we will be looking for the perfect diet. We'll be looking for the perfect diet. Today's lesson is what is the perfect diet when it comes to, specifically, we're talking about calisthenics training, but in general, as far as training, your training. Is there a perfect diet? Firstly, do you believe that there is a perfect diet? Let me leave in the comment section or on this live right now. Do you believe that there is a perfect diet? And also, I will ask you right now to invite anybody who you know would find value in this live right now. So go ahead and invite them right now. Let's get this video to 18 likes. There are 18 people in here right now, so go ahead and do that. I'm providing guaranteed value here. So if you do believe that, go ahead and share this video with somebody. So my promise to you by the end of this live is, by the end of this video, you should have a greater understanding on what role does diet play in your ability to see consistent and predictable results, and what your diet should consist of. So, like I said, a lot of us, we focus on, just training, beast mode, go hard, do all that, but then we don't actually focus on what gives us those results, guaranteed, which is our diet, what we put into our body, the fuel, the building blocks. So that is my promise to you by the end of this. So let us start with the problem. Okay, the problem, I'm pretty sure the problem, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're not sure what you should be eating, and you feel like there's a specific diet you should be following to get that Greek physique warrior look like Irvin Felix John with the Fitness Journals. But no, for real, you're probably not sure exactly what you should be eating. The quality of the foods that you're eating, you're not sure. What should I be eating? Is this correct? I'm working out hard. I'm not really seeing these results. It got to be my diet, or is it my training? You're like, I know it's not my training, so it got to be some way I'm eating, right? So we're starting with the problem. Now, as a calisthenics athlete performing high demanding physical movements, I'm consistently reminded how important it is to fuel myself with appropriate nutrients to repair my body after intense training. But it goes beyond that for me. I eat for health and longevity. So a confused mind says no one does nothing. What that essentially means is if you don't know what to do, it's like, I'm so confused. I really don't want to do anything because I don't want to do the wrong thing because I'm confused. And we want to, right here, we want to avoid confusion at all costs. That's what we don't want to create confusion. So confusion in many cases leads to inaction, and in my opinion, inaction is probably worse than making the quote unquote wrong decision, right? So I'm going to give you a quick backstory about I had a staph infection and what role did my diet play in that. So at this time, I'm a sophomore in high school, not really thinking about my diet. Like I grew up active. I grew up doing martial arts. I grew up running cross country. I grew up active. So when you don't experience the other side, which is being sick, not being active, when you don't experience that side, you take it for granted, and I take it for granted. My dad raised me to be active, and my mom as well. In a healthy household, so I wasn't aware of the until I experienced it for myself. So when I was a sophomore in college, in high school, I was living in Grenada. I got a staph infection, and if you don't know what staph is, MRSA, Staphylococcus aureus, which is a bacteria, a flesh-eating bacteria, and I got bumps, which became boils under my arms. That's where it started. So it was in my armpit area, and they grow into like pockets of pus, and it has to drain. Otherwise, if it gets back into your blood, then it can poison your body and you can die. So I experienced a severe staph infection. Even the doctors, they were like, "Wow, this is pretty bad. We haven't actually seen a case this bad." And every time one would pop, another one would show up, and they just started showing up all over my body. And anyone who's ever experienced staph, you know how painful it is to experience that. And my diet was fueling this. So all that starch, all that refined sugars, all these things were fueling the staph infection. I wasn't eating for health and development of my body. I was just eating because, oh, hey, it tastes good. I'm young, I'm active, kind of active. And at that time, when the staph was perpetuating, I wasn't really as active as I was before. So what I ended up doing was changing my entire diet, and really focusing on my micronutrients, eating a lot of micronutrients-rich food. So taking a lot of garlic, onion, turmeric, aloe vera, saffron, all these things, blending it up and drinking it and pouring it directly into the wounds. And when I realized that when I was taking the antibiotics that the doctors gave me, and it was making it worse, I actually passed out. I don't know exactly how that happened, but I actually passed out when I was taking that. I think either it was a wrong dosage or something like that. And from there, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. And I ended up going through the total natural route and I healed myself that way. So that's my backstory as far as why like food being not just fuel, but being a way to nurture and develop the body is so important to me. I don't just eat. I don't like people think, oh, Irv, you got to be on steroid because you look like that. No, I pay very close attention to what I put in my body. It's very important to me. This candle smells so good. If you guys can smell this candle, I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, let's break it down into its simplest form. The main question you probably have is, what should I be eating and in what quantity, right? So that's the main question. It's like, what should I be eating? I got the workout thing kind of down pat. I know I should be doing push-ups, pull-ups. Okay, do 10 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. That's pretty simple. I got that, but I feel like I'm not getting the results because I don't know what I should be eating. So that's the simplest question, right? As your physically active, as your physical activity increases, so will your body's nutrient requirements. Exercise-induced injury, right? That's really what exercise is. When you feel sore, it's because you're injured. Micro trauma. That's what is caused by doing resistance training. So that is a result of your training. You're breaking down your muscle fiber from the resistance training. Your muscles are experiencing your muscles are experiencing or other forms of high demanding physical activity. It's essential that you are proactive in repairing your body by providing sufficient and appropriate nutrients to meet those requirements. It's important because when you're breaking down your body, those muscle fibers, you can't just go and eat a whole bunch of refined foods, go and eat junk food, and expect your body to make a full and optimal recovery. Yes, you're going to recover eventually. That's a given. And if you haven't seen my DOMS video, go ahead and check that out because I break down all the science in that Brain Gains episode about soreness, how long it lasts, experiencing that, and a little bit of nutrition in there as well. So it is important that you do pay attention to your nutrient requirements, especially if you are training hardcore. It's essential. You can't wing it. You can't just say, hey, you know what? I'll break down my body day after day, and expect to get stronger, to avoid sickness, infection, all these stuff. No, you can't do that. Your body will only allow you to get away with so much before you do pay that price. So, like I said, it's important to pay attention to the nutrient requirements. We're going to get into that. Be patient. And look, let's get the likes up. 27 people in there, only 16 likes. Let's go, man. I know you guys are gaining value, even though we're only not even halfway through your gaining value. So go ahead, hit that, smash that like button right now. We're just warming up. Look, I'm here to help you guys. Like I said, the Fitness Journals is about providing education, entertainment, and authenticity. I don't want to mislead anybody. I want to make sure I'm giving you credible information, and you shouldn't feel the need to say, hey, let me fact check, but you always should. You always should fact check anything I say. Always fact check. But it should be like, hey, I'm so confident in what Irvin's saying. I don't even feel like I need to, but you still should, right? So go ahead, let's get those likes up. Go ahead and share this video with one person. Share the video. If you're watching the playback of this, still share it with one person, right? But let's continue. And if you're feeling generous and you feel like this value you're gaining, it's like, hey, Irv, look, I want to be able to help you out somehow. Let me donate $2. Man, I'll take that. I appreciate that, right? So, like I said, let's move on. I'm going to guarantee you value. All I'm asking is to do one thing. Share the video. That's it. And definitely smash that like button, right? So let us continue here, right? Like I said, physical activity, as it increases, your body is going to require more nutrients. So physical activity include, what is physical activity? What does that mean? Let's say you're watching a video, you're not really even accustomed or familiar with what physical activity is. Exercises such as calisthenics, body weight, baby, that's what calisthenics is. Weight training, if you're pushing weight, that is exercise, that physical activity. Swimming, physical activity. Running, martial arts, etc. You get the point. Or if you are doing a high labor demanding job, like you're a construction worker or moving services, or let me see, what else? Yo, thank you, James Spell. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Great work, bro. Thank you. So those are other types of exercise, of physical activity. So even if you're not doing push-ups and stuff like that, if your job demands you to be very physically active, you're moving weight. I mean, you're moving bricks, you're moving cement by doing construction work, or you're doing a moving service, you're lifting fridges, moving stoves, all that stuff. Yes, that is physical activity, and you do need to be mindful about your nutrition, even if you're doing stuff like that. Lumbering, sanitation, those are physically demanding jobs. So what else do we have here? Moving on. You're probably familiar with the specificity principle when it comes to exercise. Now, if you're not, essentially it means when you perform specific exercises, exercise modalities, you should expect a specific outcome. So the SAID principle, specific adaptations to impose demands. What is that? Look, let's say you're a basketball player, right? If you want to improve your vertical jump, your training should involve exercises that focus on explosive strength for legs specifically. So, like I said, depending on what that specific goal is, your training will be very specific to that outcome. Now, what is the relevance of the specificity principle when as it pertains to diet? That's probably what you're wondering. We're not really talking about specifically exercise principles now. We're talking about diet in this specific video. If you wish to improve, yeah, that's what I'm saying, like your performance, you're going to be doing very specific exercises. Now, when it comes to diet, if you wish to improve your performance or body composition, your diet should be consistent with that goal. When it comes to your way of eating, keep this in mind. It's like you can't, not to say that you can't eat anything you want and see results. The more specific you are with what your diet is in relation to what your goal is, you can with more accuracy, dictate or specify what the outcome will be. So if you're like, hey, I want to improve my body composition, eating a moderate to high protein diet, and you're doing high intensive training, you can predict, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to my carbs and fats aren't going to be disproportionate to what my protein is if my goal is to improve my body composition, continue to have a lean, ripped physique, and still maintain my size. Keeping that stuff in mind is like, okay, I'm going to be specific with what I'm putting into my body as far as those macronutrients because I want to achieve a specific goal. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of questions are popping up here. I'll get to that. I want to make sure I at least get through the main stuff here because I don't want to go over my time that I set to complete this live. So, yeah, you got to be specific. We're gonna get into that. Like, what? I don't even know what it means to be specific. What does that even mean? Yeah, I get you said I got to be specific. What does that mean? How am I specific with my diet? I don't even know what to eat, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and shatter your world right now, right? Remember the question I asked you at the beginning, or I stated, we're gonna find the perfect diet, right? Well, like you said, I'm gonna have to shatter your world right now, and I'm gonna let you know that there's no perfect diet. I know it's kind of early for a spoiler alert, but I'm gonna let you know right now. I don't want you to go through this entire video thinking that I'm going to introduce you to some groundbreaking diet that you've never heard of before, which you often see promoted and marketed on social media. Go ahead and scratch that right now. If anyone is promoting, or you see some type of revolutionary diet being promoted on social media, on someone's YouTube, go ahead and throw that out the window. Not saying you shouldn't listen to them and hear what they have to say, but if they're introducing, hey, here's the one ground-breaking secret that will fix all your problems, no, what I'll tell you by the end of the video will solve any of those questions that you have in your head. There is no perfect, groundbreaking one diet to find. Give me a second. Yeah. So moving on here, like I said, there's no perfect diet, and there is no one diet or food in existence that will bestow superior physical performance or overall health. It's just, unfortunately, that's just not how food and diet works. It doesn't work that way. So by doing many little things right in accordance to your goal, exercise modality, food preference. So if there's doing all these little things in accordance to, okay, what kind of exercise am I doing? What is my goal? What type of food do I like? And there's definitely a few other factors. You can create the ideal dietary approach for your lifestyle. I'm going to say it again. When you understand that it takes doing little things, eating your daily servings of fruits, eating your daily servings of vegetables, making sure that you're not overdoing the refined and processed foods, making sure you're keeping those things in mind. Guess what you can do? You can 100% create an ideal approach for your dietary, for your lifestyle. You can definitely do that. So, like I said, moving on throughout the video, you are going to be able to understand how to get that process started. Like I said, we're definitely not going to be able to cover everything as it relates to getting all your diet questions answered in the video. It will never happen. It will take like years of videos to answer every diet question. For sure. And I always recommend talking to a qualified, certified professional. My girlfriend actually is about to become a dietitian, so you guys can check her out. I will put her description in this video after I post it, or you can type in "Sincerely Shans" on YouTube, and you can go ahead and find your way through that stuff there, and your way to her as well. If you want to get a more in-depth understanding on your specific approach. Right now, I'm talking in a general sense, but these are principles. These are not one size fits all. These need to be adjusted to meet your specific lifestyle, right? So, what are the bare minimum requirements of any diet if you're moderately or highly active, right? The goal of any diet, as I'm talking about, like if you're physically active, and this kind of go for anything, but we're specifically talking about physically active individuals. The goal of any diet should meet the requirements of providing adequate energy and nutrients to replenish the liver and muscle glycogen, right? So that's number one. If you're physically active, the number one fuel source that your body uses is glycogen. So you need to make sure, bare minimum, if you're working out, if you're training, you want to be able to replenish your glycogen stores in muscle glycogen and liver glycogen, and also provide amino acids, which are the building blocks for tissue growth. Your muscles, that's how amino acids. Those are the building blocks, and repair. So the building blocks, That's the bare minimum and repairing. So, like I said, micro trauma as you break down your body, what happened, your muscles, what you need to do, you need to repair it. Amino acids are the building blocks that are needed to get bigger, more lean muscles. I'm just going to show you a real quick look. I am not lacking in the department of lean muscle mass. Your boy is jacked, man. I'm jacked, and I don't even have a specific diet. I just follow the principles that I will be telling you. These principles work for anybody. I'm not introducing you to something revolutionary. This is what even the people who try and market it to you as something revolutionary, they understand that it's not revolutionary. They know they didn't come up with it, but it's all about the marketing, right? So what I'm going to be sharing moving forward is those stuff, right? So like I said, I'm going to run through it again. The bare minimum requirements of any diet. If you're moderately to highly active, the goal of any diet should be to meet the requirements of providing adequate energy and micronutrients to replenish the liver and muscle glycogen, provide amino acid, which are the building blocks for tissue growth and repair, and maintain a desirable body weight, right? So you don't want to be eating in a massive excess that you're gaining, 3 pounds a week. That's ridiculous. You should never be eating that much if your goal is just to be moderately, like, to be healthy. Like, I'm not a bodybuilder. Don't that I'm not talking to bodybuilders in this video at all. If that's your interest, I don't watch this video. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are generally physically active, who are athletes, who are doing this type of training, calisthenics, moving around, weight training, stuff like that, more functional stuff. Now, moving on here, what does the proper diet look like? What does that look like, right? Nothing revolutionary. Like I said, I'm not sharing with you anything that is groundbreaking. These are general principles, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now, again, share this video with at least one person. Look, we should have at least 40 people in here, right? Share this video with at least one. No, we should have a lot more than that, to be honest. But share this video with at least one person. If you believe that I am providing any degree of value, I believe right now I'm providing exceptional value. But if you're watching this, you're like, yo, this is making sense. I'm learning something even up to now, even though we haven't even reached halfway through the video. I'm going to share this because I don't want to be stingy with this information, with this knowledge. I want other people to progress and learn, right? So go ahead and share this video right now. Even if you're watching a playback, go ahead and share the video. And if you haven't press that like button, please do that. I create this content for you guys. That is why I'm doing this. As you see, I'm now posting almost daily to really provide non-stop value. Like I said, the Fitness Journals is here to provide education, entertainment, and authenticity to the calisthenics game. That's what it is, right? So I'm going to move back into here. We're going to get to that. I see someone talking about bread, and that is something I will be talking about here. Bread, there's a billion different type of brands of bread. Maybe not a billion, I'm exaggerating, hyperbole, but there's so many different brands of bread and types of bread. Bread in general, to like throw in carbs. People throw carbs like in this box of like, oh, if you eat carbs, you're fat. You're gonna become obese. What? Where did that even come from? Poor bro science marketing. He say, she say. No, we're not doing that. We're getting into the science. That's what we're doing. So I'll get to your question. But if you have any questions, leave it here. We will definitely make a ton more videos answering questions in the future. Right now, we're trying to keep this short to the point, so you get that value, get in, get out. I'm not trying to, overwhelm you with a ton of scientific, information that's just like, yo, what? I didn't even understand anything that was said in the video. No, I want to give you usable information that when you get off this live, matter of fact, you can do right now. You could be making food right now while we're live here, because that's how useful I want this information to be. What does a proper diet look like? What does a proper diet look like? Have you ever even asked yourself that question? When you wake up in the morning, you're like, I think I'm gonna go and get that thing on the dollar menu at McDonald's. Because it's food, right? You're like, no, my stomach is growling, I'm hungry. I'm not even thinking about what I'm going to eat. I just want something to eat. What does the proper diet look like? An optimal diet supplies the required nutrients in adequate amounts for tissue maintenance, repair, growth, without excess energy intake. Proper nutrition helps in 4 ways. Listen to this. It improves physical performance. Who doesn't want to improve their physical performance? Optimizes programs of physical conditioning, improves recovery from fatigue, and avoids injury. Now, I'm going to be addressing the just very briefly the three macronutrients because that's really what it revolves around. It's like when you eat food, you're thinking about one thing that's almost overly complicated and like people make it seem like it's on this pedestal that's completely like, oh, protein. Oh my God, I need to be just chugging down beer cups of protein, shakers of protein. Oh no, I need to pour the whole thing protein. No, it's not like that. There's to the knowledge of me and the studies I've gone through, there's no one who has been deficient in protein in the Western world. You know, America is like there's protein in everything. For some reason, I don't know where the misconception comes from that like it's even for vegans. We'll get into that too, or vegetarian, plant based. That like protein, you're not getting enough protein. You think if you don't look like me, you're not getting enough protein. Look, I'm different. You know why? Because it's always a warm up. I got that energy. But I'm going to teach you. That's why you're here. I'm teaching you how to always be warming up, how to get that lean muscle mass, how to get the energy that I got. Right now, I got energy. Right now, I had to tone it down. I had to do a little workout mentally. Right? Moving on. And before I move on, go ahead and share the video. I'm going to keep saying that because, look, I know I'm providing value, and I know you know I'm providing value. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So share this video with one person. Go ahead and share the video with one person. And maybe after this, I might do all you can eat. I'm just going to like chow something. That would be my workout for today. Okay, moving on. Protein. How much protein, right? How much protein should you be eating? To be, I'm going to keep it real. To be honest, you really don't even need to be worried about this. Like if you're eating a balanced diet, rice and beans, you know, you're eating lentils, you're eating kidney beans, black beans. I mean, for plant-based people, that's kind of what I'm referring to. If you're eating a balanced diet, eating your greens, your veggies, your morning, you know, you're eating your fruits. You really don't even need to be. You don't need to be counting calories, to be completely honest. But for science sake, I will be giving you some numbers. So 0.8 to about 0.8 to about 1 gram, we could say, per kilogram of body weight is how much protein you should be eating. So, yeah, like you say, people overcomplicate it. They think that you have to be, like, you get the protein powder, and you're like, okay, let me count that. Okay. No, if you're eating a balanced diet, you don't need to be worried about that. So let's go into here. So let's say a person who weighs 77 kilograms, or for my Americans, 170 pounds, you would require 62 grams of protein. That would be a daily requirement. Or if you're looking at ounces, 2.2 ounces of protein daily. So that's daily requirements. Like I said, generally, you don't even got to worry about that if you're eating a balanced diet. If you're eating, you know, average size 3 meal a day thing, whatever, you don't have to worry about it. You really don't. Like, if your goal is to hit a specific weight and specific body weight composition, you got to count calories. There's really no way around it. I'm not going to make you believe that there's a secret. I'm not one of those people who are going to be like, hey, let me share a secret with you that you probably never knew. Even though this stuff you might not have ever knew, keep in mind, this stuff this is general knowledge if you're looking in any like nutritional book, right? So, like I'm saying, eat, really, I just really just want to say like, yo, just eat a balanced diet. And if you don't know what that is, you're gonna know at the end of this video, right? So let's move on. So assuming that even during exercise, relatively little protein loss occurs through energy metabolism. I'm not gonna break that down now, but yo, what's happening in France? We got France in the house. Where everyone from, by the way? Go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Where are you from? Where are you tuning in from today? Getting your brain gains on. Where are you getting your brain gains on from today? All right. So, I'm gonna skip through this. I wrote this down, but I'm not gonna go through all that. I'm just gonna kind of get to the stuff that are actually very tangible for you to be using today. So, also the protein intake for the typical American. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. The typical American diet, the protein intake for the typical American diet, it exceeds the protein RDA, which is recommended daily allowance. It exceeds that. So the typical diet that an American eats, you literally exceed the daily requirements for protein. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to. What you need to worry about is your overall calorie intake. That is what you need to worry about. If your goal is to get bigger, more lean muscle mass, yes, you do need to be in a surplus. And to be quite honest, you don't necessarily need to be in a surplus to build a lean muscle mass. But that is for another video. We won't be talking about that here. I'll actually do an entire brain gains on that. Brain gains live, we can do that. You actually don't need to be in a caloric surplus to build lean muscle. Now, okay, I'm going to get carried away if I start talking about that. That's why I have my outline. I don't want to get carried away on a tangent about a totally different topic. Someone's going to watch this back and be like, did you just say you can build lean muscle mass while on a caloric deficit? This guy is stupid. Irvin Philly, Sean with the fitness journals. What's wrong with you, bro? I liked your content up until you said that. You're going to have to tune in next time to see if I'm really stupid. Joke's on you. Okay, moving on. Like I said, typical American exceeds the protein RDA. The competitive athlete's diet usually contains 2 to 4 times more protein than the recommended value. So that's where you got to think about it. Like, okay, look, I already know typically my diet as an American. If I'm an American, I see a lot of people from all over the world, but we're talking about. I'm referencing exactly what I wrote here. It exceeds that, right? So it's like, okay, now if I'm trying to build lean muscle mass, let me make sure that I'm paying attention to my body composition as I'm training. Am I becoming skinny fat, which is called scientifically sarcopenic obesity? You have excess, you have lack of muscle mass, and then you have excess of body fat. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. Am I experiencing sarcopenic obesity? And a lot of people don't really pay attention to that because they're like, skinny fat, all I have to do is do push-ups and whatnot. No, it does go deeper than that. You do need to pay attention to your overall body composition and look at what your dietary lifestyle is like, right? So one nutritional dilemma for the physically active vegetarian concerns obtaining an adequate balance of essential amino acids from a diet that obtains protein from the plant kingdom. So you do need to up your protein intake. So if it's like, okay, if I said 0.1 to 1 gram per body fat, 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram. As like if you're not plant-based, that's fine. But if you're thinking plant-based, you should up that intake a little bit. You could say even 1.2, 1.3 to 1.4, give or take ballpark. And the way you're gonna know that, like, look at it. Look at the improvements of your body composition or lack thereof, and see if your diet is allowing you to get to that. And the only way you're gonna do that is by tracking your data. Baseline data. I talk about this all the time. I'm a data fanatic. I love data. I love numbers because it's so easy to see what you're doing wrong or not doing wrong. Like, for example, like I said, I don't want to go on a tangent. That's why I have the notes here. Like for sales, the way you're going to know, hey, am I doing the thing that's right to make the adequate sale? Same thing when it comes down to your diet. If your goal is to reach a specific body composition and your protein intake is at a specific number, you're like, okay, I'm not reaching this body composition that I want. I need to switch up the numbers. If you're tracking the numbers, it's going to be so easy to do that. Some people don't like to track numbers. I hear that, but I'm telling you, the surefire way to end up where you want to end up as far as body composition is to track the numbers look at what you're, and you don't even have to do it forever. You do it, you see what the numbers are looking like, and then you'll be able to get it in your head. You'll get it in your head as time goes on because it's like you're not going to be eating. Your meals are going to be pretty consistent. I'm going to assume you're not going to always be changing your meals every day for 365 days a week. It's like I'm never going to eat the same thing twice in a year. Probably not going to happen. So it's pretty easy to track the numbers and look at the data when if that's how if you have data to track to begin with. Like you have to do that. I always recommend tracking your data to begin with, even if you don't continue doing it. You want to make sure you're at least taking in baseline data. What are things looking like before you begin? And as time goes on, 3 months pass. Okay, wow, I gained weight. I was trying to lose weight. Why did that happen? If you're tracking data, it's going to be very easy to pinpoint where that's coming from. Now, moving on, kind of went on a tangent there. Didn't want to do that. So I'm just like kind of skimming through the surface of all the micronutrients as it pertains to training, not really getting into depth because that's not what the video is about. We're talking about the perfect diet for calisthenics or anyone who's really physically active. And we have already discovered, if you're just joining right now, guess what? There is no perfect diet. There is no perfect diet. Sorry, kind of spoiler alert, did it early, but there is no perfect diet. There never will be, right? So moving on, even with a high carbohydrate diet, muscle glycogen does not rapidly replenish to pre-exercise levels. So as I spoke about earlier, look, once you're training, your liver glycogen and muscle glycogen will be depleted. I mean, it's not even like guaranteed. It's science. It's gonna happen. If you're doing resistance training, calisthenics included, high volume training, your muscle glycogen and liver glycogen will be depleted, and it does not rapidly replenish to pre-exercise levels. So it takes a minimum of 24 hours. That's a total day, one day, 24 hours to replenish muscle glycogen to levels following prolonged exhaustive exercise. So if you're out there training, going hard, doing any type of routines that you follow on my YouTube channel, then yes, 100% you are going to need to make sure that you're giving yourself adequate time to replenish your glycogen storage to get back into intensive training. Otherwise, your performance will be inhibited. So liver glycogen restores at a faster rate than muscle glycogen. So keep that in mind. One, 1 to 2 days of rest or lighter exercise combined with a high carbohydrate intake reestablishes pre-exercise muscle glycogen levels after exhaustive training or a competition. So when you're training hard, I don't know if you know about like what's it called? Training at your like VO2 max training and things like that. A percentage of that, when you look at those numbers, okay, today I'm going to train at 20% of my VO2 max, things like that, whatever. Keeping those things in mind, if you do track data to that like extreme, then it's going to be way easier for you to understand. Okay, this is how much time rest I need to give myself before getting into extreme training to make sure that my glycogen stores are full, so are replenished. So we're going to stop with the carbohydrates there for now. Just know that you need carbohydrates if you're training at an intense level. It's essential. Like that's it. I'm not even going to go further into that because I'm going to go on a tangent. Don't want to go on. I keep saying that because I don't want to. Already 38 minutes in, I'm trying to finish in under an hour. So, and then I have a little time to get to questions and go over that. But this live, I want it to be an hour because I have a ton of stuff to finish as well. Just trying to stay organized. Tried to start exactly at 4:30. So anyway, let's talk about fats, lipids, right? So no exercise performance benefit occurs by reducing the percentage of lipid intake below 30% daily value, right? In fact, significant reductions in dietary lipids compromise exercise performance. So people are like, oh, fats, if I eat fat, I'm going to get fat. No, it's not how it works. I'm not going to go into this video because I talked about that in other videos. Fats are essential for hormonal production, helping you absorb other nutrients and whatnot. get into that. And, well, no, I have videos on that. But if you got questions on that, 100%, leave them in the comment section below, and we will definitely make another live or do another brain gain video on that. So a diet of 20% lipid produced poor endurance performance scores than a diet of identical caloric value containing about 40% lipids, right? So it's like you don't need to be like, oh, I'm trying to get lean. I need to cut down my fats. I need to make them. No, an extreme cutback of your lipid intake will not help your performance. It will actually be adverse to your performance. Hence what I just read there. Such findings further fuel the controversy concerning the importance of dietary lipid for individuals involved in intense training and endurance competition. And I want to let you know that there is so much unanswered questions, even from the scientists who study nutrition, that it's like you can never have all the answers. It's like you try, and then guess what? Eventually, you're gonna find something that works very well for you. Nothing ever perfect, but you're gonna find something that works very well for you. Even when it goes into like, okay, I'm trying to eat healthy. Oh, is it non-GMO? Nah, who cares about all that? You know what I'm saying? People who would want to eat healthy if that's always what you're thinking about? It's just too much. Like, I'd rather just go and eat my junk every day. I have to. That's what I think about. Just it's giving me trying to figure out how healthy gives me more stress than actually eating. I mean, than eating. Oh, so you should for overall health and wellness. Audio is breaking up. Oh shoot! I hope my headphones. Has it been breaking up the whole time? I hope my headphones are not connected. 1 second, guys. Keep asking questions if you got any questions there. I hope my headphones. Oh shoot, they were connected. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? It's fixed now? Okay. My headphones were connected. Sorry, I didn't even know. I did not even know that it was connected this whole time. I hope you guys were able to hear me. Wow. So, well, were you guys able to hear me before? I mean, people were responding, so clear you were able to hear me, but apology for that. Okay, you guys heard me. Cool. So moving on real quick, take a quick break, breathe it up. Think about how this will apply to you. If you're a calisthenics athlete or if you're a person in general, how will these tips that I'm providing you today, how will you be able to implement that into your own journey to finding the perfect diet for you, right? And go ahead, if you haven't, share this video right now, one person. Just share the video with one person. I am providing you with unrivaled value. Right now, this could be a workshop that I charge for or something like that, or someone else would charge you for, but I'm giving you for free. Why? Because I want every one of you to reach your fullest potential. Unleash your capacity. Get the energy. That's what I want for y'all, right? So if this is valuable in any capacity, all I ask is that you share. If you're feeling inclined to drop a $2 donation, by all means, that's completely fine. But I'm not even asking for that. All I want is you to share the video with one person. And if you're watching this back, share the video with one person. That's it. Now moving on. If you share your genes, I mean, I can't share it with y'all. I mean, but I'll share it with my significant other. You know, when I'm producing children, I will be sharing my genes that way. And it will be superior genes. Y'all got superior genes too, because I'm teaching you right now. Look, your genetics load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. People like to blame their genetics on everything. You blame, oh, diabetes runs in my family, and then you continue to eat a extremely poor, unhealthy diet, and you talk about, my genetics. No, your lifestyle. Your genetics, it loads the gun. That's puts the clip in the gun, right?
But the thing that kills you, the depth, the thing that pulls the trigger is your lifestyle. Go ahead and thumbs up the video if you have not done it yet. Go ahead and smash his like button. Please do that. Let YouTube know that I'm providing quality to y'all. Excuse me, sorry. Moving on. I'm talking about nutrition. I haven't ate all day, so I'm burping right now, drinking water. Been drinking a ton of water. Oh yeah, I can't forget water. Yo, y'all need to stay hydrated. Y'all need to stay hydrated. So, sorry, let's move back on here. Yes, things that you should know for overall wellness, health and wellness, right? According to the government's dietary guidelines for the Americas, right? Prudent nutrition includes eating at least 3 ounces of whole grain cereals. Someone asked about bread earlier. Breads, crackers. Well, I want you to pay attention to what I said first, right? At least 3 ounces of whole grain cereals, breads, crackers, rice, pasta every day. Now, once again, all this comes back to what is my lifestyle? Am I a physically active person? Am I training? If you're a sedentary desk worker, you know, right now, a lot of people are desk workers. Why? Because this whole COVID thing got people locked up in their house. We got 45 people in here. We should have 45 likes a minimum. If you're a desk worker and you're not doing any physical activity, guess what? You should not have an extremely high carbohydrate intake. Your body has no incentive to use it. What is the number one source of energy when you're training? Glycogen. Where does glycogen come from? It comes from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates breaks down. It becomes that glucose, glycogen, and that's what the body uses for energy. Energy. That's right. So, yes, 3 ounces daily. Take into consideration your particular lifestyle, but this is the dietary guideline for Americans, right? For Americans. So 3 ounces of whole grain cereals. I'm going to go through this again. Write this down. Whole grain cereals, breads, crackers, rice, or pasta every day. So increasing one's intake of whole grains can lower the risk of stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, abdominal fat accumulation. So people, when we talk about, how to reduce belly fat, where I talk about you can't spot reduce, keep this stuff in mind. Yes, you cannot spot reduce, but being very specific with this, with, creating bloating and constipation and all that, that could very easily create the illusion of that protruding stomach, that belly. You got all that waste built up in there. If you're not using the bathroom every time you eat, I'm not talking about like you eat and then use the bathroom immediately, but it should be in accordance with that. If you're eating and then you're like, oh, okay, look, I'm eating, you should expect to be going to the bathroom. You should be excreting that. If you don't use the bathroom for 2 or 3 days, you need fiber in your diet. You're not drinking enough water. You don't have sufficient fiber. Something's going on. You should not have all that waste built up in there for, the day, period. But then 2 days go by, 3 days go by. What? No. I use the bathroom through every time I eat. Every meal I have, I use the bathroom in accordance with that. And it moves, I spend a lot of time, making sure I do pay attention to my fiber intake. Yes, because it's like you shouldn't be spending an hour on the toilet. You shouldn't be. So that for another video, but let's move on here. Look, go ahead and smash that like button if you know I'm providing value right now, which I know I am, and you know that too. Smash that like button and share the video with one person. Share it like this. Just click out the video real quick. I'll wait for you to come back and just say, hey, look, we got Irvin here. Yo, he giving us gems right now. He telling us how to look like Irvin Philishon with the fitness journals. So go ahead and share the video with one friend. I'll wait for you to come back. And like I said, that's all I'm asking. If you do feel like I'm providing value where you feel like you need to drop a donation, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But all I'm asking is that you go ahead and share the video with one person, right? So moving on here. look, outside of the performance aspect, you heard me talk about reducing the risk of stroke, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, abdominal fat accumulation, constipation, and particularly heart disease, right? Yeah, someone thought it said that. It says BBE. A lot of people think that. I'm like, oh my goodness, nah, that's not what I'm repping. I'm repping BBE, Business Body Elite. Okay, so well, I'm rep. Okay, anyway, that's not for the video. So I just want to very briefly list a bunch of general foods which provide an abundance of essential nutrients for you, right? So no matter really, unless you're allergic to something, and that is something that you need to consider. Am I allergic to something? What am I allergic to? You can go through an assessment. Like I said, go to a qualified health professional. My girlfriend does provide services that you can look into, which you could look at. I'll put her link in the description, or you could go ahead and type in "Sincerely Shans," reach out. Even if she can't specifically, guess what? That's her scope of practice, so she could point you in the right direction. So it is very important for you to know, am I deficient in anything? That way, like, if you know, you don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder, oh, I'm deficient in XYZ. Okay, now I know exactly what I need to eat. So I'm going to give you, like I said, a list of general foods which provides an abundance of essential nutrients. Energy. I need some energy in here right now. Where's the energy? Right now, you should be having energy, because if you're excited about improving your health and your fitness and your overall just well-being, you should be giving some energy right here. So cantaloupe, 1/4 of a cantaloupe, that melons will supply the recommended daily requirement for vitamins A and C. So if we got someone okay jumping up and down right now. So like I said, 1/4 of a cantaloupe will provide the daily recommended requirement of vitamins A and C. You need that. You need that. Sweet potato, rich in carotenoids, vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. So people kind of think you have to take supplements. I'm gonna make an entire brain gains and video about supplements. I don't take supplements. I'm not against it, but they're literally not necessary, and I have the science to back it up. And I have myself. I don't take supplements, and look at me. I mean, I don't think I'm lacking in the looking department. My physique is crazy. I can say that. I work for this. My physique is crazy. I don't look like the average person. If you see me, you're going to be like, chances are that guy works out. No, you're not going to say that. You're not going to say that. You're going to be like, yo, what does that guy do? He's on roids, and I'm not even on supplements, right? It's because I know what I'm talking about, and I'm sharing it with you so you can say the same thing. So I don't drink milk. So I guess if you do, which I would, I mean, to each your own. I'm just telling you, I don't. But fat-free milk or low 1% milk, but including soya. So if you don't have to drink milk, so I'm telling you the alternative. If you already are drinking milk, you can drink. People think, oh, soya boy. I'm not gonna get into that right now either. But anyway, it's rich in calcium and vitamins, and with minimal fat and cholesterol, right? And I don't know if you know this, but the body does produce cholesterol, right? Salmon or other fatty fish, and I'll give you the plant-based options as well if you don't eat fish. But omega-3 fats in fatty fish such as salmon, swordfish, and rainbow trout help reduce the risk of sudden death from a heart attack, right? So the plant-based options for that same thing would include flax seeds, walnuts, hemp seeds, chia seeds, fiber, which chia seeds are very rich in fiber and protein. So another one, list all these foods. Make sure you're writing down all these foods. You should have a pen and paper right now. Look, if you have a pen and paper, let me hear that you got a pen and paper. Say, I got my pen and paper. Say it. Say it. Say it. Say, I got my pen and paper. I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to wait. We don't want the video to go too much longer. We got about 6 minutes. Otherwise, I won't be able to get to questions. So let's do it very rapidly. Get your pen and paper. I don't want you to be missing out on the value. I want you to make sure that you're leveling up, right? So the only way you're gonna do that is you're applying these things. Don't just write it. Pen and paper. I see y'all. I see y'all. Got that energy right now. Pen and paper. Write it down. Write it down. So moving on. Oranges rich in vitamin C, folic acid, and fiber. Did you know that tomatoes got more vitamin C per, take the same size of orange and tomatoes, they got more vitamin C's. Tomato got more vitamin C than orange. That's it. I'll just say it like that. Trying to be all sciencey and everything. That's it. Energy. I see y'all. I see y'all. Energy. Okay. So broccoli, rich in vitamin C, carotenoids, and folic acid. Whole grain bread, richer in fiber. Whole grain bread. I'm not talking about white bread, refined bread, washed bread. Y'all still hear me and everything? Smash that like button right now. Smash it. Smash that like button and share this video. We finishing up right now, but if you're just joining, go ahead and share this video. If you still here, man, you're one step ahead of the competition. The competition is your previous self and your future self, right? So you're one step ahead because you're learning to apply this stuff for your future, for health, for longevity, for physical performance, and all those good stuff, right? So I'm talking about I'm not talking about refined bread, washed bread, bleached bread. I'm talking about whole grain bread, richer in fiber, vitamins, and minerals than enriched white bread or wheat bread. Yeah, I said it. Whole grain bread. Don't mistake them. Whole grain bread, wheat bread, they're not the same, right? 100% brand cereal, 1/2 cup serving provides about 1/3 of the daily requirements for fiber, helping to reduce the risk of constipation. I know a lot of people got that problem, right? You shouldn't. It should just flow out when you get on the toilet. I mean, it shouldn't just flow out. It shouldn't be diarrhea. But, this is stuff we got to talk about because, look, it's true. A lot of people dealing with this type of stuff and they scared to talk about it. I'm telling you the secret right now. You don't want to spend time fighting with your I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized for saying B hole. Anyway, your I don't know. Anyway, you shouldn't be spending that much time trying to force it out. You shouldn't. So, like I said, that helps with reducing the risk of constipation or the symptom of the experience of constipation. Same word to describe. Beets are rich in protein, iron, folic acid, and fiber. Examples include garbanzo beans, chickpeas, pinto, black, navy, and kidney beans, and lentil beans. So keep those stuff in mind. The beans, those are just go to make sure that you have a regular. It's like, that's stuff that you could go and buy at the corner store or any supermarket for a couple bucks. You have no excuse. Spinach and kale. Write that down. Spinach and kale. Rich in carotenoids, calcium, and fiber. So we're going to wrap it right here. The conclusion of this video, right? If there's one thing that you learned from here, I want you to write it down while I'm making this exit statement, this outro, this conclusion. What is one thing that you learned as far as it pertains to your diet? Maybe something you didn't know before, or something that you can now add in, or something that you thought you were doing right but you were doing wrong. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. Let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, bring this full circle. I actually finished in about an hour. It's like you'll be able to expand whatever task into the time that you allot to it. So remember that if you're working on something and you're like, hey, I need to finish this in an hour. If you know you got to finish in an hour and you set a timer for an hour, you're probably going to finish in an hour. Keep that in mind. There's a hack right there. That's probably a secret that you didn't know. I just gave you a secret. It wasn't even diet related. The conclusion, no perfect diet. There is no perfect diet. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone sell you some sort of secret plan that, oh, hey, guess what, man? Bet you didn't know this. Pay me $50 and then you're going to get the perfect diet. No. General principles, you should be able to understand what I just really gave you here. It's like there is no perfect diet, but doing little things often, these little things, eating your daily fruits, vegetables, the things I recommended here, just that right there, even if you're not eating the specific caloric requirement, just adding those nutrient rich foods, nutrient dense foods into your diet will improve your health. That should be the number one goal. Building lean muscle mass, having a lean body, all that stuff is secondary. Obviously it helps, but the number one thing is making sure you're healthy. So like I said, the conclusion here is there's no perfect diet. There never will be. I shouldn't say never, because never say never. Anything is possible. 50 billion years from now, who knows? It might, I don't even know. I don't even know what could exist from there. Following your idol's diet doesn't magically, like I'm talking about people you look up to on social media, all these influencers. If you look up to me like that, same way. It's like, don't think that I have some secret diet that you don't know about and I'm withholding the secret. I'm literally telling you everything right now. My what I eat in a day videos is the stuff I eat. For the record, people say, are you vegan? I am plant-based. I'm not out here marching for the animals. I'm not saying that that I don't care about that. That's just not why I do that. And I don't want to lie and make people believe that that's why I follow the plant-based diet. No, that's not why. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If that's why, 100%. I mean, I have pets, but like, it's not my reason. So following the people that you look at on social media and thinking if you buy their meal plan you'll look exactly like them. No, don't go into it thinking like that. Go into it thinking, hey, I'm going to be gaining some insight here that is give or take. It's like, okay, I could take bits and pieces of this to apply to my specific journey. If you're following some crazy extreme structured diet, fad diet, and you can't stick to it and maybe you can, you'll force yourself to stick to it 6 months to a year. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're like, it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do for you. And that's why making sure you collect data, getting examined by a professional, a qualified professional, to see if you are deficient, if you're lacking in anything. That information helps because you don't have to guess, you don't have to wonder. So if you are following, if the person you're looking up to is following a balanced diet, and finding other specifics that work for them, if you do the same, you'll certainly see improvements by following those same principles. So it's like, it's not because they gave you their secret diet that it's their secret diet that worked. No, if they're following the general principles and they sell it to you and you're following that, like, hey, I use that diet and that person's diet worked. No, chances are they're following the general principles of how a diet should be. And guess what? If you do the same, whether you buy it from that person or not, you're going to get very similar results. So all in all, eat your fruits daily, eat your vegetables daily, drink lots of water, and you don't have to worry about protein deficiency. If you're an American, chances are you already exceed the daily requirements. And if you're an athlete or you're plant-based, you should up that protein intake just a little bit, but you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to obsess over protein. How much protein? Let me read protein. People look on the back of like things and only look at, protein. No, you should be looking at what nutrients does that food have in it, So that we're over the time here. I'm gonna really stick to what I said. I know I got a lot of questions. I'm just gonna kind of fly through this. We had Stippich in the house. It's only a warm-up. Facts. What do you put in your body, sir? I put water. Put water. I usually work out until much fatigue. Okay, so I'm going to go through all these questions later. I'm trying to stick to my time because I do have things that I have to do. But anyone who tuned into this live, thank you very much. Please do not hesitate to leave any questions for future lives. If you did believe this to be beneficial, go ahead, and it's not too late to share this with another person. And we will definitely do a lot of lives about the questions that were presented here in the future. Health is wealth. Get money. Look, when you think that you've gone all you can go, remember, it's just a warm-up, and it's always going to be the warm-up. So keep that in mind. I'll see you on the next video. Keep bringing the energy. Health is wealth. Get money.